Hi, my name is Mick Gallagher from Magpie Yoga and YoGlasgow. I've designed a simple therapeutic yoga practice, probably take about 30 minutes, to practice at home for anybody who's, particularly if you're an absolute beginner to yoga, to deal with basic issues of tension, stress in the body, tightness, just to get yourself actually into some kind of movement, some kind of breathing pattern, taking yourself forward. So I designed it for people who are reporting to their doctor with stress, anxiety, depression and related pain. It's a simple routine. If you are chair bound, you find it really hard to get up and down out of a chair, my colleague Caroline Smart, also of YoGlasgow, has sessions on our YouTube channel, YoGlasgow. If you subscribe to that, you'll find our sessions. Otherwise, you might like to try my wee session here. So really basic. As far as having any kind of props or supports go, I'm using 3 towels. So we've got one of these really big bath sheet type towels at the bottom, a standard bath towel and a hand towel. So that's what we're using as props, maybe for under our head or the small of the back or behind the knees or whatever. Really straightforward. I'll talk you through a breathing practice first. It involves breathing into the belly a few times, then the ribs, then the chest, and then we'll get into work into some movement. So what I will say is, if you've got any doubts about anything in this yoga practice, consult a doctor. So you have to be responsible for your own health. Our YouTube channel, let's say, is YoGlasgow. Also, you can find Magpie Yoga, so you can subscribe to the channels for free, and you'll get a selection of videos there. Hopefully, they're for you to use. Hopefully, you'll find them beneficial. So I'm going to get straight into this. We'll start on our back. I'm going to use one of my towels under the head. So what I'll say before we start my breathing practice, treat everything that I say in this session as a suggestion, not an instruction. You have to work to your own body, work to what feels right. So lying on your back, knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor, feet hip distance apart, arms away from the body. Just taking a few breaths to get yourself settled. And then bring both of the hands to the belly. And as you take the breath through the nose, down the back of the throat, take it right down towards the belly, really puffing up and expanding the belly. And as you exhale, actively draw the belly back. Belly rising on the inhale. Sinking on the exhale. Rising on the in. Falling on the out. Slide the palms to the rib cage, rest the palms on the ribs. And as you take in air, feel the expansion of the rib cage underneath the hands. Closing on the exhale. Expanding on the in. Contracting on the out. Rib cage opens. And the rib cage closes back. Sliding the palms to the chest. Resting the hands on the chest, fingertips towards the collarbones, elbows towards the floor. And as we inhale, feeling the chest lift up under the chin. Falling on the exhale. Rising on the in. falling on the out. The chest lifts. And the chest sinks back. So let's put that whole breath together. The intention is to fill the lungs from the bottom to the top. So resting the hands back, lower on the body, one above, one below the belly button. Take the breath all the way into the belly, up into the ribs, right up into the chest. As you send the breath away, chest falls back, rib cage closes, belly button sinking back to the spine. Rising belly, expanding ribcage, lifting the chest, chest falling, ribs closing, belly sinking back, belly, the ribs, the chest, falling, closing, sinking back. Falling, closing, sinking back. Dropping the hands to the floor, backs of the hands on the floor, palms of the hands facing up. On an exhale, drop both the knees to the right. Maybe turning the head in the opposite direction if it feels okay on the neck. So don't worry how far the knees go. The most important thing is keeping these shoulders, these shoulder blades stuck to the mat, stuck to the floor. So you may like to move in a cycle of 3, maybe 5, maybe 7 breaths. So depending on how much time you've got, every posture, use the same amount of breath. So I'm going to move in a cycle of 3 breaths. Inhale up. Exhale other side. So using that breath we've just established, long, even, smooth inhales and exhales. Inhale up. On an exhale, bring both knees, one knee at a time, in towards the chest, maybe catching the knees or at the back of the knees, bringing them in tight, bringing the thighs towards the body. You might like a wee rock from side to side to ease out the low back. Rolling off to your side. Coming up to all fours. So any issues with knees, this is where your towels come in. You may like to place a towel under your knees. Any issues with wrists, you may also like to put a towel under the hands. So getting yourself set up, hands directly under shoulders, knees directly under hips. You can press the tops of the feet into the floor, soles of the feet facing the ceiling. If that causes you any discomfort, any cramping, any spasming in the feet or the legs, feel free to tuck the toes under. Moving with the breath. On an exhale, drop the head, suck in the belly, arch up the back, tuck under the tailbone. On an in-breath, head up, tail up, let the belly go, create a nice dip in the back. Moving with your breath, on your next exhale, drop the head, suck in the belly, arch the back. On your inhale, head up, tail up, let the belly go. Setting up for the next posture, threading the needle. So again, you may find your towels useful. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Turn over the left hand, feed it through and under the body behind the right hand, taking the left ear, the left shoulder towards the floor. So the towels can come in useful here. Maybe you're hovering, maybe you're a bit tight and you find it tricky to get low. That's perfectly okay. This is where you could use a towel. Maybe you don't want to use a towel. Maybe you're quite happy to hover and allow yourself a bit of time to soften. So the more you practice this, the easier it will get. You might slide this hand forward. Count your breaths, 3, 5, 7, whatever amount of breath you decide to use. If you've slid the right hand forward, slide it back. Inhale as you open the body. Setting up for the other side, so again you have the option of towels for support. Turn over the right hand. Because we're folding and closing, move on an exhale. Left hand slides back. Again, on an inhale, open up. Come into sit with the legs in front. So, a wee bit of padding for the bum, if you like. Possibly, depending on whether you're particularly tight on the back of the legs, you might like, again, to use one of your towels at the back of the knees. So you've got it as an option. Sitting up tall. Rest the hands, one in the other. Hands facing up, roll back the shoulders, open the chest, just rest them at the top of the thighs. Lengthening up the spine. So some people, when they sit in this posture, they feel like they're falling back the way. If this is you, what you could do is lengthen up and lean forward slightly. So maybe the towel works for you, maybe you don't need it. Maybe you'd rather get a deeper stretch in the back of the legs. Make sure the toes are pointing back towards the face to keep the legs active. Bending up on the right side. Take this foot, take this leg up and over the left leg. So the leg, we're making a figure of 4 with the legs. It can be above the knee or below the knee. Lengthen up again. Straight leg is still active, toes pointing back to the head. You may use this towel again. So this depends on how long your body is and how long your arms are. So you might have a long body and short arms, which means when you take the hand back, you feel like you're falling back. Again, the towel may be an option. Take the hand back on the left side, inhale up, resting the right hand on the bent leg, lengthen the spine, roll the left shoulder back as you look behind you, keeping the chest open, looking back to your left. So remember, we're sitting up tall, we're working into this seated spinal twist. The straight leg's still active, toes pointing back towards the head. Remember that breath, even smooth in and out. On an in-breath, come forward, release the leg. Setting up for the other side. So get yourself set up again before you think about twisting to the other side. So sitting up tall, toes pointing back to the face. Bend up on the left. Take the left foot, the left leg up and over. So again, you can be above the knee, or maybe, depending on what's happening with you, you may find below the knee works better. Take the right hand back. So again, you have the towel as the option. I'll demonstrate it without the towel on this side. Fingers on the floor, inhale to lengthen, resting the left hand on the left leg. Drop the right shoulder back as you look back to your right, sit up tall. Keep that straight leg active, toes pointing back to the head. On an in-breath, coming forward. Release the leg. So we're going to counter the twist with a simple seated forward fold. Again, we have the option of the towel under the knees, depending on how you feel in the legs. Sit up nice and tall, activate the legs by pointing the toes to the face, lengthen the spine. Take the hands, we're just going to slide them down the legs. So see if you can keep the spine long, the head sitting on top of the spine. Try not to take a nosedive. So look at the toes or look past the toes as you continue to fold. Inhale to lengthen. On an exhale, keeping the back long. So don't worry how far you get, it's really not that important. So we're going to open up the low back here. Inhale to lengthen. Maybe we can go a little bit deeper on the exhale. On an in-breath, coming back up. I'm going to move towards some standing postures. So take your towels, you can just place them to the side. Before we think about making any of the standing shapes, any of the standing balances, what we want to focus on first is grounding. So just getting ourselves on our 2 feet, finding our balance on 2 feet before we think about any deliberate imbalances. So plant the feet, hip distance apart. Feel the contact with the feet from the big toe right through all the toes to the wee toe. The heels, the whole of the foot making contact with the floor. Energy coming up through the legs. So the legs are strong but they're not tight. We've got a softness in the knees. We're going to lengthen up the spine. Suck in the belly, tuck under the tail, roll back the shoulders to open the chest, then let the hands hang nice and heavy. Shoulders dropping away from the ears. Taking a few breaths here. Finding this posture. So we're moving into a standing forward fold. So traditionally people think about calling this touching your toes. Forget touching your toes. There's a lot of reasons why we might not be able to touch our toes. It's not necessarily an issue of being too tight or stiff. It could be that you have short arms, again as I spoke about earlier, and a short torso. So when you fold, you might be really far away from the floor just from your body mechanics. So what we're interested in is direction of travel. So what we're doing is heading towards the toes. So pressing into the floor, on an exhale, fold into the hips, keep the back long again, slide the hands down the legs, take them past the knees. So if you've any issues with blood pressure, high or low, or glaucoma, maybe this is as far as you're going to go, which is perfectly good. If this is as far as you're going to go, work on lengthening the spine. So really think, imagine somebody's pulling on your head, separating all the vertebrae in the spine. Maybe on an exhale you're going a wee bit deeper. body softens a bit more. So if you're folding further, really think about using the weight in the head. There's a lot of weight in the head. Use the weight in the head to open up the spine. Depending on how the backs of the legs feel, you might like to soften the knees. Maybe you're quite enjoying the stretch in the back of the legs. Maybe it feels good for you. Maybe you're going to keep the legs straight. So you decide, remember, it's your body, your decision. To come up, soften the knees. We're going to roll up nice and slow. So stacking the spine up, one vertebrae at a time. We're going to roll ourselves up, shoulders up and back. Drop the hands. Moving into a simple standing back bend. So we'll take the hands on the hips. See if you can get the thumbs near each other at the base of the spine. So purely by taking the thumbs near each other at the spine, taking the elbows back, we've already started opening the chest. So really this is about opening the chest more so than a back bend. Pretty much we're looking at opening the front of the body. So elbows back, look to the feet, bend the knees so that the feet disappear under the knees. Clench the muscles in the low belly into the groin, clench your bum to protect the low back. On an exhale, push the hips forward so the hips are above the knees. Start with the chin on the chest. If you don't have any issues with the neck, you may find it's okay to roll the head back, taking the chin up towards the ceiling. So although this is quite simple, it's quite a deep back bend. So we need to make sure that we protect the neck in particular here when we come up. So do not take the head up. Dip the bum back the way so the body will come forward. Push up to standing. Release the hands, keep the arms and legs in a shake. So wall press. So this is like a standing version of a press up, nice and simple. Hands to the wall. Shoulder distance apart. Just stand back at arm's length, feet hip distance apart. Elbows are pointing down the way. Move on an exhale. As you exhale, bend the elbows, lean into the wall. Inhale, come back. Exhale. Inhale back. So again, if you're working on 3, 5, 7 breaths, you would go 3, 5, 7, 10 times. Standing balance is tree posture. Feet hip distance apart. Again, ground yourself. Find your balance before you think about imbalance. Both feet pointing forward. We'll start on the right side. Lift the heel on the right side. We're still on the ball of the foot. Turn the knee to the side. Take the heel towards the ankle on the standing leg. On an in-breath, arms up and overhead. On an out-breath, palms touching. Drop the heels of the hands to the top of the head. Elbows coming back to open the chest. Shoulders dropping away from the ears. Inhale, push the hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, coming down the front centre line of the body. Release the leg, release the foot, setting up for the other side. So again, ground yourself, don't throw yourself into the other side. Get yourself settled first. Lift the left heel. Turn the knee out to the side. Heel to the ankle. On an in-breath, hands up. On an out-breath, heels of the hands on the top of the head, shoulders coming back, elbows coming back, shoulders dropping away from the ears. So to add a challenge, you might find closing the eyes is interesting. If you close them and you don't like it, just open them back up. So suddenly the balance get that wee bit trickier. So really yoga is about experimentation. On an in-breath, push your hands up. Exhale, centre line of the body. Release the hands, release the leg. Again, the legs a wee shake. Standing balance, involving lifting the leg, one leg at a time. So again, get yourself grounded. Use some support. There's no cheating in yoga. So let's use a bit of support, and then you'll find as the practice gets easier, maybe you're taking a hand away, maybe you like to have a finger. You decide. We're going to lift the right knee up. I'm going to push the foot away. So you might like to take that other hand out to the side. Maybe you're taking this hand away. Stand in balance on one leg. Don't worry how high the leg goes. Bend the knee. Lower the foot. We'll set up for the other side. So again, find your feet, find your balance. Bring up the other knee, other leg. Push the foot away. You may like to use your wall for support. Maybe you're taking the hands away. Bend the knee. Lower the foot. So moving into a squat. Squat is really important. We don't get enough of this in general. We've got a lot of sitting in our lives, whether we're driving, or we're sitting on a couch, or we're sitting in a chair. So a simple squat, the easiest way to come into a squat would be start resting the hands on the legs. We come at the forearms. So allow a bit of time for the body to soften, allow things to open up in the back, particularly the low back. If you prop the elbows on the legs and use that to lengthen up and prop up the upper part of the body, you might find the weight in the bum helps to open up the spine. So depending on what's happening with you and your body, maybe this is as low as you're going to go, which is perfect. If this is as low as you're going to go, that's where you're meant to be at this point, so that's fine, don't worry about it. Maybe you can get a wee bit lower. Maybe you can drop the hands. You might find moving side to side helps. Some people are heels up, some people are heels down. So again, that's not really an issue. So the more you practice this, the deeper your squat will get. Moving towards our final relaxation. So again, your towels, set them up. So we're going to lie here for a wee bit. Get yourself comfortable. I'm using the hand towel for my head. I'm going to use the middle-sized towel under my knees. I'm going to use the big bath sheet like a blanket. So as I said, you may be moving on a cycle of 3, 5, 7, 10 breaths. If you've got time, you might find you'd like to lie for 5, 10, 15 minutes at the end of the session. So make it yours. Do this exactly how you would like it to be. Bent knees, soles of the feet on the floor, feet hip distance apart, or straight legged. Again, we've got that towel under the backs of the legs. If you'd like to straighten the legs, take the arms away from the body, palms facing the ceiling. Or maybe you like resting the hands in the front of the body, so you decide. I'm going to focus back to the breath. Just take a breath through the nose, into the mouth, into the back of the throat. Tongue soft, spread it in the mouth. Teeth slightly parted, lips gently closed. Softening the jaw, softening the face. Let that softness travel into the neck, the throat, and the collarbones to the tops of the shoulders. Shoulders rolling back to the floor as you send away the breath. Chest swelling as we take in air. Falling back. Noticing any movement in the rib cage. Noticing any movement in the belly. Take your breath into the low back. Take a breath into the big muscles in the bum. Softening on the exhale. Breathing down the backs of the legs to the backs of the knees. Use your breath to massage the calf muscles. Use your breath to cup the ankles. The breath inside the feet, swirling through the muscles, the bones, the tendons. And on an exhale, shooting the breath out the ends of the toes. And the whole of the body is heavy, soft, warm, and relaxed. If the mind wanders, don't fight it. It's only natural. Let the thoughts come and go. Let them pass like leaves in a stream. Pulling your focus back to the breath. Using your breath is the simplest form of meditation. Always coming home to the breath. Gradually bring your awareness back into the room. Conscious of the weight of the body on the floor. Taking notice of how the breath moves through the body. Starting to introduce some movement. Maybe wriggling the fingers and toes, or making any other kind of movements that seem appropriate. Reactivating the spine, bringing the knees one knee at a time, both knees towards the chest, hugging on the knees, shins, or behind the knees. Pulling these thighs in towards the body. Maybe having a wee rock from side to side to ease out the low back. And just in your own time, rolling off to the side, any side. A few breaths here, so you might cuddle up the arm so you can rest the head on the arm. And again, in your own time, maybe you'd like to lie a bit longer, feel free. If you're coming up with me, slowly, on an in-breath, bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. So any seated position is fine. Lengthen up the spine. On an inhale, take the arms out to the side, up and overhead, palms to touch. Push the fingers to the ceiling. On the out breath, lower the palms, thumbs to the forehead, to the lips, to the heart. Placing your palms on the ground, taking that energy that you've gathered up, you've fed through the body, putting it back into the earth beneath your feet. Thanks for practicing with me. I'm Mick Gallagher of Magpie Yoga in YoGlasgow.